it's Gabriel Hood and welcome to the Double Review presentation. First up, the Denzel Washington action thriller, The Equalizer. Our plot begins as Robert McCall is living a quiet life in Boston, working at a hardware store called Hallmark, and at night he reads books at a diner where he befriends a teenage prostitute named Elena, working under the name Terry for the Russian mafia. One night, Elena is beaten by her pimp and hospitalized, and Robert learns of her predicament from an associate. And later on, Robert confronts the pimp and his associates and attempts to negotiate for her freedom, which they refuse. So with no other choice, Robert kills the pimp and his associates. And it's not long before a kingpin for the Russian mafia, Vladimir Pushkin, sends his enforcer Nikolai to find and eliminate the culprit. And soon enough, Nikolai identifies Robert as being the culprit and sets out to destroy him. But little do they know that Robert is a retired agent from the DIA, and Robert gets information from his old friend and colleague Sarah Plummer about Vladimir Pushkin and his illegal activities. So Robert uses that information to take down the Russian mafia once and for all by pushing out a corrupt cop and getting information out of him and destroying the kingpin's business little by little and emailing information about the criminal activity to the FBI. And one fateful night, Nikolai and his associates take Robert's store hostage, and Robert uses his fighting skills to eliminate the Russian thugs once and for all, before finally confronting Pushkin and killing him and his bodyguards, thus succeeding in securing Elena's freedom. And after that, Robert dedicates himself to helping the vulnerable and the defenseless, identifying himself as the Equalizer. Next up, John Wick starring Keanu Reeves. So the plot begins as our titular character has recently lost his wife Helen to terminal illness after living happily for 5 years. So to come to terms with his heartbreak, he gets a last gift from Helen, a puppy named Daisy. And despite his heartbreak, he goes out of his way to bond with the dog, which is sadly short-lived as a trio of Russian gangsters ambush him and kill his dog, his last living gift from his dead wife. And it's revealed that of the trio of gangsters, the leader was the son of a powerful kingpin named Vigo, who reveals that John Wick was a former associate, and that prior to retiring and living happily with Helen, John built the foundation of the criminal syndicate with multiple high-level assassinations, thus revealing that John Wick is a former assassin. And while Vigo initially tries to prevent further chaos and violence, everyone knows that John Wick is going to come after everyone involved. So Vigo sends a group of hitmen to kill John, but he overpowers and kills them. So after getting rid of the bodies and cleaning up the evidence, he goes to his former associates for help, who occupy themselves at a hotel called the Continental, which caters to the criminal underworld. And with their assistance, John goes on a rampage and dismantles Vigo's criminal organization, finally kills his son for killing his dog, and finally goes toe-to-toe with Vigo and gets the upper hand, but not without sustaining some injury along the way. After which, John decides to get another dog to cope with his loneliness. So my conclusion is, between Equalizer and John Wick, it's hard to say which one is the better film because they're both vigilante action thrillers and they each take on the same theme. Like, both their heroes take on Russian criminals. But one glaring difference, though, is that with the Equalizer, since it's starring Denzel Washington, you get as much of his dramatic monologues as you do his action sequences. And he actually keeps the film grounded. Whereas with John Wick, starring Keanu Reeves, it's faster paced. And you just witnessing Keanu Reeves kill a bunch of Russian criminals for the sake of entertainment. So my conclusion is it's a toss-up because they're both entertaining, they're both guilty pleasures, but when any project stars Denzel Washington, he always has a way of elevating otherwise mediocre movies. Whereas John Wick is simply a guilty pleasure for the sake of guilty pleasures. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. See you later. Peace.